What up, watchers, listeners, everybody who enjoys this podcast? We are back with another episode of What We Watch, a very special episode of What We Watch for many reasons.
Let's go.
One, we're reviewing Superman today, something that we have both been very vocal about, that we've been very excited about, and we're pumped to talk about our thoughts with it. But two, you might notice that we have another, I guess you could call him, well, he's kind of our producer. We have Natalie's brother, Jackson, on the podcast today. We brought him in to help us kind of make sure our thoughts can be a little bit more structured, that we don't just go crazy for an hour and a half like we have in the past couple episodes. And he'll probably be a producer, depending on how this goes, for the foreseeable future. So
yeah, it's his test run.
Yeah, exactly. If you want Jackson to get a camera and a good mic, put in the comments that you want it, because then maybe I'll cave and buy him a microphone so he can give his thoughts on things.
He can buy his own microphone. That's when you know you're really in the squad.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. He has to prove himself first. But because we have, at least I have, as you all know, a lot of thoughts about Superman, and I have a lot of thoughts about this movie, we're going to kind of avoid a fun question and just jump into it. But first,
I do have to
Natalie.
say something.
Yes.
Some of you may have been expecting Prince of Egypt this week. We apologize if that was you and that you were really excited for that episode. It's our fault for not scheduling out the movies well enough, but Garrett got excited and picked Prince of Egypt, and then we decided that it was probably better for us to just do Superman now. We'll do Prince of Egypt in 2 weeks, and then we'll do my pick. So this is kind of a combined pick together, so we hope you enjoy it.
Still watch Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, still watch it. You still have time if you haven't watched it to go catch up. But we figured that since the times are all about Superman right now, that we would stick with it and, share our thoughts.
Exactly. And of course, as always, if you really like what we talk about or if you love us, consider subscribing. Give us a like. We would always appreciate any support that you can offer, even if it's just a meager like. But let's jump into it. So, I think to get our overall thoughts, I'm going to, just at the beginning, I'm going to do what we did in the Hannah Montana episode and do did the critics get it right category. So, currently on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has an 82%. Natalie, do you think the critics got it right?
Are we giving it away already? Or do we need
gate, I feel like people are going to pick up pretty fast.
The people know what we think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that that's a great critic score for this movie. I would agree. What do you say, Garrett?
I agree as well. I think, which we'll get into, but I think as, the film critic part of me, I'd probably give it like 7.58 out of 10. This movie, like on a 10 scale, I'd probably give it that. So I think critically, from a critical standpoint, from a pretentious film critic standpoint, I think they got it right. Now, as a fan of Superman, as a fan of comics, and as a very biased person, I think the audience score is a little bit more what I side with, at least now, having seen the movie twice, because the audience score is currently at, correct me if I'm wrong, producer, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it seems like people are really loving this movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as an audience member myself, I'd probably have it up there.
Yeah. It was just
a
really, really just enjoyable time at the movies. Like, I don't think I've had this much I haven't had a smile on my face in a movie theater for this amount of time, like in so long. Like, there's moments in this movie where I would just find myself like, I'm grinning like an idiot right now. Like, I probably look so stupid, but I'd look over and see that other people are doing the exact same thing. Like, it's just a feel-good
just good vibes
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was good. I have spoken to, I think only one person that didn't love it, but other than that, I think I've heard only good things about it. Maybe it's recency bias, but hey, I like it.
And that person
what were the
who
other
didn't
critics
like it
score?
is wrong. I'm kidding. I completely understand people who don't like love this movie, but I'll pull up the Metacritic score. Metacritic has, with 58 reviews counted, it has a 68, which is generally favorable reviews. For those who don't know, Metacritic, so Rotten Tomatoes, how it works is it looks at just if the reviewers thought it was good or not. As in, it doesn't look at their specific scores. It just looks at, like, did they give it a positive rating? And then Metacritic looks at the scores. So, for example, if someone gave this movie 3 out of 5 stars, that's still a positive review. So it counts to the positive, tick mark on Rotten Tomatoes. Whereas Metacritic will actually take their score and then kind of put that together with the other scores. So a 68 on Metacritic is actually pretty solid. For context, like other movies, like I think the Batman has like a 70 or a 71. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think the third one has a 68 or a 67. So it might sound like it's not great, but it's a pretty positive score.
Especially in superhero terms.
Exactly, especially recently too, in recent years. But I have a quote. I have a couple quotes from some of the reviewers. Let me see. When they got truth, justice, and the American way at the mother effing function. So that was from Letterboxd, and so the Letterboxd score of this movie is 4 out of 5 stars, which honestly, for Letterboxd, is a little high. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say when I saw it, yeah, I was like, dang, okay.
One of my favorites, the top review on Letterboxd is, "Oh my gosh, call me Gal Gadot, the way I don't know how to act right now."
Oh my gosh, I saw that one. That was so funny.
Has 5 stars.
Do you want to explain your Letterboxd reviews?
Oh, yes. So my Letterboxd review of it, the first time I saw it, I've seen it twice. First time, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I quoted the movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So Pedro Pascal in that movie, him and Nicolas Cage are talking about their favorite movies. And he's hesitant to give his favorite, or his like second favorite movie. And Nicolas Cage is like, "Come on, just give it to me." And then he goes, "Paddington 2." And then Nicolas Cage is like, "What? Like Paddington 2 is one of your favorite movies?" And then he says, "I cried through the entire thing and it made me want to be a better man." And that was my first review for Superman on Letterboxd. I cried through the entire thing and it made me want to be a better man.
Did you actually cry?
No, like I got misty-eyed. I got
Okay.
more misty the second viewing than I did the first, honestly.
I believe that's what happened to our producer Jackson as well. So
Really?
yeah, you guys are on the
that's
same
cool.
page.
Let's go. But it did make me want to be a better man. And if anything, like sitting on this movie for a few days, it's hit like even harder, I think. Because my first viewing, I had so many high expectations for this movie that my first viewing I was kind of against, against everything that I want. Pretty much the first time I see a movie, I'm always a little bit more critical, I think. Oddly, a little bit more critical the first viewing. And then follow-up viewing, second, third viewings, that's when I can sit back and be like, okay, I know what this movie is. I'm just going to try to catch the vision and, like it for what it is and see it for what it is, not for what I wanted it to be. And first time I saw this, it was pretty much, it was a lot of what I wanted it to be. But it was the second time where I was like, okay, I'm just trying to catch what James Gunn was trying to do here. I'm not trying to think about my expectations. I'm just watching it for what it is. And it hit a lot harder because I wasn't there, bummed out that some things weren't exactly how I wanted it. I was just there seeing this is what the movie, like this is how they saw the movie, the creators. And it made it a lot more, I don't know, it just hit a lot more and I could pick up on what they were doing a lot more. And so my second review gave 4.5 out of 5, which is very biased. Again, like everything I say is very biased because I am a huge nerd.
4.5. And what did you say for that one?
It was guy I was next to, and then he says, "What are you doing?" And then me with pen and paper in hand, writing down every single move Jimmy Olsen makes, learning. So this is a good
Classic.
this is a good segue into, if you have not seen Superman, do not listen to this because we were about to spoil the crap out of
Yeah,
this
there's
movie.
gonna be lots of spoilers. Also, that was
Oh,
just a quick shout out. If you guys want to follow us on Letterboxd, we're both on there, so give us a follow.
it'll be lit. Um, but yeah, so Jimmy Olsen, he's the man in this movie, and we'll get into
Yes.
character, and we'll talk a little bit more about why he's the man when we get into character. But to
Love it.
start off, let's talk about the plot.
Okay, Garrett, what you say about the plot?
Sweet. So for plot, I would probably give medium bucket with a lot of butter. I think this is probably James Gunn's messiest superhero movie. Like if you look at the Guardians movies and the most recent Suicide Squad movie that he made, plot wise, I think a lot those movies are a lot tighter. Even Guardians 2, I think, is tighter than Superman. This movie is a little, in some places, kind of jumps to some places a little too quickly. I would love to have spent more time with some characters and in some aspects of the story, specifically with, I think, the Kents as parents and then Crypto. I love both of them. Like, I loved the Kents. I think their scenes were fantastic. Crypto stole the scenes that he was in. But I did just, like, not to a negative degree, because, again, I still loved them, but I did wish there was a little bit more time spent with each of them, just so that we can get a little bit more emotionally attached to them. It's the same way
Mm-hmm.
that the first time I watched the Batman with all of Alfred's scenes, I wanted him to be in it a little bit more, because a lot of the emotional, um, like core of the movie revolves around Alfred, and in the same way, a lot of the emotional core of this movie revolves around the Kents and Crypto. And so I wish they just had a little bit more time, like one or two more scenes would have been enough. But with
Mm.
Crypto, like a little bit more time to flesh out his relationship with Clark, rather than just like, oh, he's a bad dog, but I still love him. Like kind of having a couple moments, like the end credit scene where they're just like sitting on the moon. I think that was really cute, and I wish that was actually in the movie, not just the
Mm-hmm.
end credit scene. And then with the Kents, honestly, just like one or two more scenes of
Mm-hmm.
them calling Clark or him visiting them or something like that, I think would have been enough for me. But as it stands, I think they both serve their Crypto and the Kents serve their roles well. Um, but yeah, there's just other parts of the movie that I think like it's the goofiest superhero movie we've had in a long time, and that's a good thing. Like I enjoy that it's very goofy and very genuine in that regard. But I think there are some times when like some of the James Gunnisms don't fully land.
Mm.
Just some jokes don't fully land, or some side character that says something just kind of seems out of place. Some of the editing transitions are a little bit weird. But overall, the gun did not jam. I think he really did a really good job with this movie. And the plot, it doesn't really matter as much as the characters do in this movie. Um, so, what did you think about it?
Plot wise, I gave it a large bucket with extra butter. Um After you had said those things, I was like, yeah, I could see that, but I still don't think it changes my score.
Yeah.
Just because I think that plot wise, nothing. I feel like another thing that I've heard negatively about this movie was that the pacing was weird, but as just a normal viewer, like I didn't see any like weird view. Like I didn't feel like it was that weird. I didn't feel like anything was out of place. I feel like the pacing was decent. I thought the editing was good. But like plot wise, story wise, I liked it. I think I saw something before the movie came out about James Gunn talking about how he's like, we've already seen Clark Kent's story, like the whole Smallville thing, like
Mm,
upbringing before, so he didn't want to just beat a dead horse and do that again, which I think a lot of remakes tend to do. It's like, okay, well, we're telling the same story, so he wanted to kind of start in the middle of the story, which you know that if you've seen it. And so I think knowing that beforehand and then having the expectation that I wouldn't see a lot of that side of things helped. I could see that if like you didn't know that that was what was going to happen, how people could be upset about it. And I will say that I did really like all the scenes with the Kents. I thought that they were a fun take
mm,
on Ma and Pa Kent because I feel like in a lot of other iterations of them, they're like a little bit more, I mean, at least the iterations I've seen. I haven't seen a ton of Superman stuff. I've seen Smallville, I've seen Man of Steel, I've seen bits and pieces of like the original one, like movies with Christopher Reeve. But yeah, I think that like that iteration of them just being like super southern, a little older, just like was super tender
Hmm.
and cute. So it would have been good to see more of it, but I don't think I was necessarily missing it because there's so much else going on, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. And I think what they needed to, I wouldn't mind more scenes with them, but I don't think it was necessary in
yeah,
this movie. And I thought the
and I
plot was fun.
think
Like I thought it was interesting and different from what we've seen.
yeah,
I know that some people, like you were saying, like James Gunnisms don't always land. I can't even think of a joke that didn't land for me in this movie, or like, and maybe that's
hmm
just because I like his style. I could see how people like don't like it. For example, the person that I talked to about not liking this movie was afraid that this movie would feel like watching a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and he said that he felt that way. But I think going into that,
hmm
having that mindset would probably make him feel that way even more. Anyways, but
yeah,
I do think that if that's not really like your vibe, I could see how you would not like it.
hmm
But yeah, those are my thoughts. Sorry, that was kind of all over the place.
no, I think that's to the point of it feeling like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Um, I've heard people say that too, but I don't really understand that at all. Like,
I
it
didn't
doesn't
feel that
feel like a
way.
Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Well, and he told me that in between watching it, because I've also seen it twice. I saw it on,
Hmm
and we saw it together the second time, me and Garrett did. And the second time I saw it, I had that in my mind. Like, I was like thinking about it as I was watching it. I was like,
hmm
and I was like, I don't understand like feeling that. Maybe it's the style of like directing
Yeah,
and like maybe more the aesthetic that people feel that way about it. The bright colors and like all of that. But I don't really, I don't really feel that way about this movie at all. I thought
no,
it
like
was its own thing. So
exactly. Like you're not gonna say, I think it's the style people are talking about when they mean that, like you were saying. And you're not gonna look at a Martin Scorsese movie or a Steven Spielberg movie and see two of their movies and be like, "Oh, Jurassic Park feels like E.T."
yeah,
or West Side Story feels like Schindler's List. Like no, like it's
yeah,
just the style of directing is, you know, what
similar.
feels the same, and even
Yeah.
the aesthetic, like this. If you look at the first two Guardians movies, this doesn't look like the first two Guardians movies. It kind of does the third, but I feel like the James Gunn movie that's the most similar to this is his Suicide Squad movie, which if you watch
Which I
both of
haven't
those
seen.
movies, yeah, they're way different. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't. I personally do not see people who say that it just is Superman or Guardians of the Galaxy just with Superman. I don't understand it, but to your point
Yeah.
of the pacing being weird, I like you said, they didn't want to just do the origin again. They just like we're gonna put you in a world where superheroes already exist. Superman's already been Superman. You know this, and I think
Mhm.
for some people, especially for me on my first viewing, it took me a second to kind of catch up with the movie and be like, okay, these
Did
relationships
you know
already
that going
established.
into
These,
it?
yeah, I did know that going in, but it
Okay.
still took me a second to be like, okay, these relationships are already established. Like I'm not seeing
Yeah.
Clark and Lois meet for the first time, like they've already met. And once I did catch up with it, I loved it. And the last thing I'll say about plot is how it honestly just feels like a live action cartoon in like the best way
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, but just seriously enough where you get attached to the characters and the story and things like that. And if you've ever watched, like for people who've watched like the Justice League animated series growing up, or Superman or Batman the animated series, it really just feels like an episode of one of those shows, and it's really really cool. And
Mhm.
that you can tell that's the vibe that they're trying to go for.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I thought that the story was good as well since we were talking about plot. Like everything about it I liked pretty much. I loved
Mm.
I feel like now would be a good time. I think a lot of the plot like you said has to do with character.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like just going into that, like I feel like the like Lex's character was really good, like because that was kind of like the whole story of like the conflict and everything of him, you know, creating this war and trying to take over and whatever. and then so that he could take down Superman. I thought that his take on the character was really good. But what do you think you would give character, Garrett?
I'd probably give character. This is where our rating system is tough because it's like the objective and subjective view. Because I almost gave it an extra large bucket.
Wait. I don't think that's a bad take, Garrett.
It's true.
Let me check what I put.
I would give it extra large bucket with a lot of butter. I think.
That is also what I gave it. I was like, wait, you don't have to go back on that.
Yeah, I think the only reason I'm kind of up in the air about it is there are some characters that I do wish we had a little bit more time with. Like I said, the Kents and Crypto and some of the Daily Planet guys. So like I wish Perry White had a little bit more to do. But like the main characters are so good in this movie.
Yeah. Well, and I will say this to that point, Garrett, is that I think if we had dived into every single character that was in this movie, then we would end up with a 3-hour-long movie. And I don't think people want that these days, and I don't think we need it.
No.
And so, like, I think, like, with how much that they had going on with character, because there are a lot of characters in this movie, I think what they did with every character was good, and to the extent that we needed it for this plot. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? And that's why I gave it extra large. Because I'm like, like if we could do a 3-4 hour movie, then great. We can dive into every single character and see but I don't think we needed that for this, and so And I think even with the characters that we didn't dive into, we still felt strong. I still felt strong connections too. And so I think every character was given a fair shot.
Yeah, I think.
And I liked all of them, so that's why I gave it extra butter.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to give it just a large bucket, which again is still a great score. Because again, drowned in butter. Because I feel like in order to just make the characters more, like the side characters a little bit more depthful, like you just have to take out some of them. Because this movie is not only like do a Superman movie, but it's also establishing the DC universe, like the new DC movies. And so because of that, they had to bring in a lot of characters and stuff like that. And so, like, in order for me to give it extra large bucket, I think you just have to take out some characters and make it a little bit smaller of scale. But I think that's probably what they're going to do with Superman 2. But anyways, enough about the score. Let's talk about why we gave it that score. So, I'm just going to run through a couple guys real quick so we get them out of the way.
Yeah, you go for
Justice Gang, Mr. Terrific. He's awesome. He's great.
Mr. Terrific was a very big highlight for me, personally.
Exactly. Like, me and your little brother, Brady, were talking about this we're huge comic book nerds, and we don't really know a ton about Mr. Terrific. So it's wild to us that, like, our moms are like, wow, Mr. Terrific is so awesome. Like, he's going to be, like, a household name now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this guy that we didn't really know about. So I think that's really, really cool and really awesome. I loved Metamorpho. I thought Metamorpho was awesome. I love his power set. I think he's kind of broken. He has such cool powers, and I want him in more stuff. But, sorry, before I move on.
Yeah, I think Metamorpho would be cool to, like...
Metamorpho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mr. Terrific, I thought he was, like I said, he was a highlight of the movie for me. I think he, stole the show every time he was in a scene. I think one of the scenes that I've seen a lot of people going crazy about was when they get to the portal. And he is, Lois is in the, like, force field thing, and then he's, like, going off and just attacking everybody there. I think that scene was really fun. And I thought he was great. I thought he was an interesting character, so... and then And I would love to see more of him. I would also love to see kind of Metamorpho's like backstory and kind of like get to know him a
Yeah.
little bit more. His whole thing with Baby Joey, which has kind of been a meme in our family for a while.
Uh-huh.
Baby Joey has been, because I wanted to get Jordan for his birthday a like set of Superman characters, which I did get for him for his birthday, and he does love it, and he goes to sleep with Superman every night.
Yeah.
But in the box set, the reason why I got it was because it has Superman and Crypto, and he loves the trailer, and so he loves looking at those two guys. But I was dying because I was like, what is this little alien thing? Like, what is this? And then I was looking at it, and it was like, this is Baby Joey. And then I'm like looking on the internet, I'm like, what the frick is Baby Joey?
Who's
And so it's
Baby
kind of been a
Joey? Yeah.
meme. So we've kind of like been looking at it. We've all kind of been joking about it for weeks. And then like Brady was like, my little brother was like, oh, he's not going to be in it. Like Baby Joey, that's just, I don't know why he's a part of the little like toy set, but he's not going to be in it. And then when the other trailer, the IMAX trailer came out and Baby Joey was in it, I was like sending screenshots. I was like, he is in it. And then, but anyways, I would love to see like the background of that and kind of like his family story, and like, because you kind of get that little tiny like shot of him with like his partner or wife or whatever, and then Baby Joey like after they escape and everything, just very briefly while they're watching the TV of the war. Anyways, and so yeah, I really liked that, him as a character. I liked that. I thought it was kind of funny. I will say that his like switch was so quick. He was like, "No, bro,
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, giving it." Like, I'm not giving up the kryptonite too that fast. Like, don't even ask me. Like, attacking him with it, and then, anyways, he kind of, and then the guy
And then
gets shot, and he's
Falafel guy
like
gets
crying,
domed. Yeah.
and then he's like, "Why did you do that?" Anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on those two characters. That was a lot. But
Next guys in the Justice Gang, Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl, I think, was great. I think it's a really good characterization of her. She's kind of of the three Justice Gang members, she kind of gets the least amount of screen time. Probably like similar to Guy. But for those who don't know Hawk Girl, I think this was a good introduction to this version of Hawk Girl. I love when she has whatever the goofy president guy's name is, and he's like, "You're not going to kill me. You're like Superman." And she's like, "I'm not like him."
Nah,
and then she
bro.
just drops him. I thought that was awesome.
So funny.
That was very Hawk Girlish. And then Guy Gardner, I loved because I really like Nathan Fillion. I've always liked Nathan Fillion. I think he's awesome. Great actor, great guy, very funny. And then I really like Green Lantern, and I'm so happy that he didn't just do like green beams out of his ring, that he actually made like constructs, that he, made a big like speaker, that he put oven mitts on the giant monster. Like, it was really cool to actually see Green Lanterns like do something for once. And Guy Gardner, because for those who don't know, there's a ton of Green Lanterns. One of the next DC projects, I think the next one to be released, live action DC project that's connected to this universe, is the Lanterns TV show, which will be more of a detective style focus on the two actual main Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Kyle Chandler is playing one of them, if you did not know. And Kyle Chandler is the coach from Friday Night Lights, for the people who watch that show, and the dad in Super 8. But those are the real Green Lanterns. Guy in the comics is kind of the jerk that nobody likes. Both like the audience doesn't really like him, and that's kind of the joke, and the characters hate him. He's the Green Lantern that everybody's like, how did you get a Green Lantern ring? Like, you're a terrible person. And so I thought it was a really good characterization of showing Guy as kind of a jerk. He's kind of toots his own horn, thinks he's awesome, thinks he's the shiz. And then I do love that they are making Guy, he did do, heroic acts at the very end. Like, he did go save the people at the very end. So for the introduction for a lot of people to Green Lantern, like as a whole, and like the power set of Green Lanterns, I thought it was great. And then for an introduction to Guy Gardner as a character, I thought it was really cool.
Nice. I would agree. I liked both of them. I don't know much about either of these characters, so I thought that they were fun additions to the story. Hot Girl, I didn't love her sound. The like,
Mhm.
ah, every time she would
The
like go
scream.
and fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, the scream. I was like, okay, that's enough. I think she plays live action Dora, by the way.
she does.
The
Isabella
actress.
Merced.
Yep. And then Guy was funny. I thought that his jokes were funny, and I thought that his character as a whole, I thought it was entertaining because
Mhm.
he's just kind of like trying to be in charge, but like nobody's taking it, and he's just an old guy. Like I think it's hilarious. So I thought
Yeah,
those were both fun character additions that I hadn't heard
I think
of.
the best joke in the movie for me was at the very end when um, Hot Girl's like, "Oh, we should put Metamorpho in the team," and guy's like,
Yeah.
"Nah," and then Metamorpho's like, "Justice Gang, that's a pretty cool name," and he goes,
And
"You're
then
in."
he's like, "Yep."
Like that was so
So
funny.
funny.
Um, but yeah, I know a lot of people were worried about the Justice Gang making the movie feel overstuffed, but they didn't at all. Like they felt very natural in the
Yeah.
story, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought so.
all right, continuing speed round because there's a lot of people in this movie. Daily Planet guys. I thought Perry was cool. Wish we got more of him. I thought Steve Lambert, who was the sports guy who was played by the dude from SNL, he was really funny. This scenes that he had. Cat Grant was cool. Just all of them were great. But Jimmy Olsen specifically is the man. I love that Jimmy, because I was worried that Jimmy wasn't going to have too much to do in the movie. Just based on trailers, it didn't seem like he was too relevant. And he's like Superman's best friend. Um, but I'm very pleasantly surprised that he plays a very crucial part in this movie's story. And to me, his like the joke that every girl just thinks he's the hottest man alive, and like he can't even walk down the street without girls like swooning over him, I think is so funny because like the actor's not the like he's a good looking dude, but he's not like Bruce Wayne looking, and
Yeah.
like he seems like a cool guy, but it's just funny how nobody really knows why Jimmy gets all the girls that he does. It's kind of a mystery, and I think that's
He just
hilarious.
does.
Mhm.
I love it. Yeah, I liked all of them as well. Thought they were great. Jimmy Olsen was funny. What was the sports guy's name again?
Steve Lambert, I think.
One of my favorite parts was when he was like, "Why don't I have a seat?"
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. And then, yeah, I feel like Kat was just kind of there, like
Yeah.
you don't see much. And then, yeah, I mean, I think that it would be cool to see more of that. I mean, there's so much you can do within the superhero universe. I mean, a
Mm.
Superman universe, like as a whole, with the Daily Planet and
Yeah.
everything that goes into that. So it would be fun to do more of like that stuff in the future. So I'm excited to
Hmm.
see where they go with those characters.
There's talks behind the scenes right now of a potential Mr. Terrific spinoff show and then a Jimmy Olsen spinoff show, which I would be so down for either of those. And
I will
for
say,
people, or go ahead.
sorry, I will say I am not big on the superhero shows these
Hmm.
days. I just feel like they've been a little overdone. But I haven't seen any DC ones. Have they even made any DC ones? Or is the
No.
Green Lantern one the first one?
I mean, they did like the CW stuff, but that's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
really like, it'll be very different than that.
Yeah, do you think that they're like what platform are they using? Do you know? Like where are they
They'll
going to
be
be
on HBO
released?
Max.
Okay.
And they're not gonna because James Gunn has been very vocal about they're not gonna do like a bajillion projects a year how Marvel has done and like burn out
Okay.
people.
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah.
like I can't remember if he said the goal, but it'll be like at like maybe one or two, like one maybe two movies a year, probably like yeah one maybe two, and then like a show or two every year or so.
Okay.
And his whole
Well,
idea for the DC universe isn't supposed to be just Marvel. Like he wants every project to be very tonally distinct from each other, and you don't have to have watched every single thing to understand
to
every movie
understand.
or show. Like for
Okay,
example,
well,
you don't need to
mad
have watched
respect.
Superman to like Lanterns. Like you can just watch
Yeah.
Lanterns. You don't have to watch anything else.
Cool. Mad respect for James Gunn because if he can pull that off,
Mm.
I'll be in it. So, I'm ready.
It'll be hype.
But
Um, for those who, because I've heard people say like, what would a Jimmy Olsen show even be about? If you want to know what a Jimmy Olsen show is going to be like, just watch one episode of regular show, and that's what it'll be like. Jimmy gets into the craziest, like goofiest shenanigans, so his show will be lit. But anyways, moving on to the next people. Real quick, Crypto, scene stealer. Of course he is. He's a cute little dog. Again, I wish we had a
Love
little
him.
bit more time with him. But Crypto's awesome. I think every scene he was in was great, and I'm not going to spoil things, but the reason he was in this
But
movie, I
we
believe, was
already.
honestly, but like I'm gonna spoil. I don't want to spoil something in the future, like because Supergirl is the
Oh,
next movie, and Crypto was
okay.
in this movie mainly to set him up for Supergirl because the comic that they're adapting, Crypto plays a very crucial role in that story. I'm not gonna say why. If you want to look it up, you can, listener, but I'd recommend not so you can get the full experience. But Crypto is very important to Supergirl. So I'm very happy they put him in this movie because when he does what he does in Supergirl, it's going to mean a lot more.
Well, now I'm scared for Supergirl because I don't know what you're alluding to, but I loved
Mm-hmm.
Crypto. I thought he was so lovely as a little dog, but also the worst as a little mischievous one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thought he was fun. I think it's always fun to have a little addition in a little sidekick pet situation, which we don't get often in superhero movies. Um,
No.
but I think it's definitely like a cool spin on it since I feel like, I mean, superheroes, I feel like are meant for like, little kids and stuff in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that seeing those things come to life, um, now is cool because it's like, okay, like, yeah, he, there would be a little sidekick type, I'm not a big comic book reader, but it makes sense in my brain for Superman to have a little dog. And then I think it's cool to
Mm-hmm.
see that, like, in an iteration like this where it's more meant for adults. But, anyways, I really liked it. Thought it was cool to
Yeah.
have a little dog.
Yeah. And people have kind of compared it to, because this movie very clearly is setting up a whole new like world and universe. Whereas the Marvel movies kind of feel like a parallel version of our reality, just Paul Rudd is Ant-Man in that world and sometimes an alien invades and stuff like that. This is supposed to be very distinctly like not of our world. Like this is supposed to be its
Mm-hmm.
own complete thing. Like um obviously a lot of stuff is like a giant monster is attacking Metropolis and some people are just kind of going about their days. Right? Like that's
Yeah.
the world that this is that we are doing this universe in. And in that sense it's really just exciting for the future because like you said, it's a lot more comic booky than like the Marvel movies are. Which if you think the
Yeah.
Marvel movies are comic booky, like they are to some degree, but this is not afraid to get weird and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, Ultraman is a clone of Superman, and Crypto is a super dog, and Metamorpho has a
Yeah.
son named Baby Joey. Like, not afraid to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I kind of like it is because I'm like, I was telling Jackson this a while ago or after we saw the movie, but just like, I don't know when we decided to take superhero movies so seriously. And like you said, I think that
Hmm.
it's been that like parallel of like our reality in and then like copying that and then just putting superheroes in it. And I'm like, that's like genuinely not the point. Like the
Hmm.
point is to have these fun characters in a different world where we get to kind of like see these fun situations and like twisting reality. And that's like what storytelling is about because it's like obviously we don't want to just see what can happen in our world, you know?
Yeah. It's
But
escapism.
anyways, it's escapism. Yeah, and I think that that's why I really enjoyed this movie as a whole and a lot of the characters. So, just wanted to sneak
Yeah.
that in there.
Um, well, let's just move on to the main three
Love it.
because they're insanely good in this movie. Let's start off with Lex. What'd you think of Lex?
Yes. I liked Lex. I think he was so brutal in this film. Like he
Hmm.
was just like, he was there for a reason and the reason was destruction. And I liked how angry he was and how again brutal he was. I just think that that's what a villain should be. And I also liked I think we've talked about this in the podcast in the past, but I'm not a big person on supervillains that are just like big monsters that are like undefeatable and like you can't kill them and like they're just kind of there forever and you're just those kinds of characters get boring to me where I think like
Mm,
human supervillains that like are just evil just to be evil for the sake of it are the more interesting villains in my opinion, and so I really enjoy Lex in this because you kind of get to see that in his like twisted brain and stuff.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I do love. Again, me and Garrett both have seen Smallville, and Michael Rosenbaum's Lex and like that character dynamic is really cool because it's like okay, they grow up like as friends and kind of like you get to see
Mm,
that struggle. And then kind of them turning on each other. Whereas I liked that in this one, it was just like straight up super villain, like that because it wasn't it in when he comes and like breaks into his place and asks where the dog is. That's their first time
mm,
meeting, and so like I liked
yeah.
seeing that. And he's like, I just liked that kind of struggle between them and seeing that he just hates Superman just because he hates him and like his whole
Definitely.
belief about like the alien stuff. So it's kind of crazy, but I liked him. What did you think of him?
Mm. I think like Nicholas Holt as Lex. I think the casting overall in this movie is insane, but Nicholas Holt as Lex, besides David Cornswet as Superman, I think is the best casted person in this movie. Um, he is so like pretty much everything you said. I love that he is unapologetically evil. Like it's weird to say I
Yeah.
love that, but I love that he's an unapologetically evil. Like he'll just dome falafel guy. Like that scene was wild, where it's like
Yeah, that was crazy.
he just straight up shot a dude in the head.
Yeah.
Um, and Superman's like scream of agony when that happens is so good. It's very sad. Like that's why it's good. It's like, dang. But um, and his monologue of how he's driven by envy, I think perfectly encapsulates like his whole kind of ideology and why he does what he does. And I love how he's like self-aware. Like I know that I'm envious. I know that that's my weakness, but it's also what drives me to do what I do.
Yeah.
Um, and I've seen people point this out, and now I kind of understand it. Of Lex's, and I kind of did pick up on this in the movie because it's kind of obvious, but Lex's main thing is he's just so jealous of Superman,
Mhm.
and it's like to a pathetic level, and I find that so compelling. Of he used to have the limelight, and then Superman showed up, and now he's like, "Are you kidding me? Like this dude just
Yeah.
shows up and takes it from me," and so I find there was an edit I saw on TikTok of him to "Creep" by Radiohead. And I think that perfectly encapsulates his character. If he just like he wants everything Superman has and wants to be special, and at one point he was, and now in his mind he's not anymore because Superman's the focus of the world. And so I
Yeah.
think just his whole motivation was really made sense and was really good.
Yeah.
Um, and
Well, and he just wants like the. Oh, go ahead.
I love when he's controlling Ultraman, and it's like he's doing real steel, of like
Yeah.
obviously he's calling out all the moves, but when he's like 1A, 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 like it's
Yeah.
so good, and I love that Brady pointed this out is how the first because 1A is the first move that he programmed, and
Mhm.
the first move that he programmed is punching Superman while he's down, and that's
Mhm.
so cool. Of like that was the first thing Lex did was
That
program
he wanted
a
to
fight
do.
move to
Yeah.
punch him while he's down.
Um. Yeah. When I think that like as just to wrap things up with Lex, that the whole idea of him not wanting to turn off the rift at the end because the people chose Superman. They didn't choose him.
Hmm.
Just like shows you what kind of a person he is, and how good of an like evil person he is. Like they really wrote him
Yeah.
so well because he's like, I don't care about them. They didn't choose me, and like that he wants to rule over the people in whatever the place was. Like
The fake
he
Middle
wants to
Eastern country, yeah.
yeah, the fake Middle Eastern countries. Like it's just so, and I'm sure that he would have taken over like all, if that ended up being successful, he would have like really taken over a lot of things because that's what his role is. I also think now
Hmm.
this is just coming to my brain, but the whole idea of the message that Clark's parents sent with him And then like almost their message, the part that they recover, is basically what Lex is trying to do. Like he believes that
Yeah.
people are beneath him, and so he's trying to take Superman
Oh,
down
wow.
with his
Yeah.
belief, right? Like that just came to my brain as I was talking. But so maybe that's not a good take, but I was like,
No, I
oh
think
wait.
that's exactly what it is. That's cool. I never
Like
even thought about that.
so it's like, okay, well, Lex, that's what you believe, but you know that you can take Superman down with that belief, yet you think you're right in doing it. So I think that that's
Yeah.
interesting as a character. So I don't know.
It's dang. I didn't even pick up on that. That's really cool.
I
I
didn't
haven't
either
seen
until
many people
this
pick up on that.
moment.
Um, the I
That's why I
think
don't write notes. I
I
just
think
go off the
Lex.
dome.
I think if I were a betting man, I would say Lex is going to play a pretty important role in the future of like their rivalry is going to be a pretty important role in the future of the movies. And last thing I'll say about him is in my favorite movie Unbreakable, there's a really good scene at the very end where the two main characters there's a shot where it's like one of their reactions, the main guy's reaction, and then it pulls out, and then the main villain's reaction, and then it pulls out, and it's supposed to be symbolic of like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. These are arch enemies. The line has been drawn. Now they're going to be like arch enemies for the rest of their lives, and I love that scene so much. And I love the scene in this movie where Superman like catches him and Crypto like breaks his arm, and then Lexi's like everybody knows that he's a terrible person now, and then they have that moment where Superman, who's standing above him, like looming above him
Yeah.
by a few feet, is like standing there and like folding his arms, just looking at him, disappointed. And Lex gets emotional and like looks down, but then he looks back up at him, and you can just tell like in that moment, it's like an unspoken like, this isn't over, like we're not done,
Yeah.
like we have just started, and it's kind of mirrors the Unbreakable scene of like the lines are being drawn, of this has just begun. For the rest of their lives, they're
Yeah.
going to be arch enemies, and it was really really cool. But let's move on to Lois.
Okay.
What do you think of
Lois,
Lois?
I personally feel like this has been my favorite iteration of Lois. I think that like this take on her is so good. Like just kind of the dynamic between her and Clark. Again, we kind of already jumped right into their relationship, but kind of their different worldviews. I thought was a good, balance. But like they still just both like genuinely care about each other, but they're so different, which they mentioned quite a few times. Like, hey, we're just so different. Like, I'm not sure this is gonna work. Like, this is why I thought it wasn't gonna work, and all of the things. But I thought it was a really good portrayal of her.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite by far. I just think that it was cool to see her in like a strong, like, female, you know, dynamic where I was like, okay, like she's so cool. Like
Yeah.
I want to be like her. And yeah, like she knows who she is. She doesn't back down. She's like even just the part where she's like pouring sugar into her coffee. It's like a ton of sugar, and she's like, "Dude, this is it. This is who I am."
Yeah.
To Jimmy, I just think that she was fun. So yeah, what did you think of Lois?
I really liked Lois. A lot of Lois Lane has been the inspiration for a lot of female characters in cinema, specifically like other female love interests in superhero movies. And there are like the reporter who, like in the most recent Spider-Man video games, they made Mary Jane basically Lois Lane. Like she's a reporter for the Daily Bugle and is like in the middle of the
Yeah.
action and stuff like that. And oftentimes those characters, like the kind of the rip-offs or inspirations from Lois, are really annoying because they don't really like fully get it. Like they just kind of like are in your face about it. Whereas Lois, and specifically Rachel Brosnahan as Lois, wasn't annoying at all. Like she was very like made things happen, like called people out, understood her own weaknesses, and like improved and like got and understood like how she can get better. Of like I need to see the world maybe a little bit more like Clark sees it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really 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 cool because sometimes I can't, just the reporter type characters, even if they're a dude, sometimes reporter type characters I just can't stand. They're just so annoying. But in
Yeah.
this movie, they like none of them were annoying. Like none of the Daily Planet guys, but specifically
Yeah, they
Lois,
did a
like
really
she
good
was
job with.
she was a standout. And to kind of piggyback off her being a standout, her chemistry with David Cornsweet is insane.
So
Like they
crazy.
feel like they're such a
I
real
think
couple.
yeah, yeah, just like the love story dynamic. As somebody who loves romance and these and like movies in general, like I look for romance movies all the time that are just that's literally the story. I think that this one is probably one of the best I've seen. Like there's
Yeah.
definitely a couple that I can think of that I also really like. One of the examples would be like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, so The Amazing Spider-Man's with
Hmm.
Gwen. Like I think that one's really good too. Sometimes Garrett likes to call that a rom-com movie, not even a superhero movie. So,
Hmm.
but
Complimentary, complimentary.
like that, I think like is also a really good story. I think that this one is just like their chemistry was just so good. Like they matched
Hmm.
so well. And every scene with both of them in it, like I was locked in and I loved it.
Hmm.
I love that she went after Clark, like, and went and tried to did save him with Mr. Terrific. But
Yeah.
even without Mr. Terrific, she was gonna go try and do whatever she could. Like I just thought
Yeah.
that that was cool. After he told her that he loved her, so tender.
Exactly.
So
And I think something I was going to add is because I disagree with pretty much everything you said. But seeing like interviews with her and David and stuff, like you can tell they're really good friends now. Like they actually do
yeah,
have really good chemistry outside of the movie as well. And both of them are married. And I know acting is just acting, but like seeing some of these interviews, it's like their spouses are like the strongest people on the planet because
I've
like
seen a
some
lot
of
of
the
comments about that. It's so
yeah,
funny.
like some of the
But
things they do
hey,
in interviews, it's like whoa. But
it's like
they're
who
both
signed
really
off on
cool.
that? But you know what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, their interviews have been fun. I've loved watching the press for this movie too.
Yeah.
Um, okay, cool. Are we going into Superman now? I feel like we could talk about him for a while. So
Think it's time. David Cornsweet, I think this is where the insufferable like nerd is going to come out a little bit. But he is truly like the Superman that I've waited for a really long time. That I think a lot of people have waited for as well. Um, like I've seen people say James Gunn didn't cast David Cornsweet as Superman; he casted Superman as Superman. Like he is just Clark Kent and Superman incarnate. And seeing interviews with him, obviously, yes, I don't know the man personally, but even outside of the movie, he seems like just such a good, genuine, and nice man. There was that
yeah,
behind the scenes
super
thing
down to
they
earth.
posted of him with all the kids and stuff like that, just like in between takes and playing with them and messing around and stuff. And that's just Superman. Like he just is Superman.
Yeah,
Everything that I talked about in Man of Steel about who Superman is and how he needs, like how he chooses to be good despite all the bad in the world. That's just his character arc in this movie. Of everything crumbles down, like everything he thought he knew crumbles when he learns that the real message from Bradley Cooper, Jor-El, and his mom was not that he was sent here to be a beacon of hope and stuff, but more so to be a ruler over their people and have a harem of women and repopulate the earth with Kryptonians and all this stuff. And that like breaks him. But he still, at the end of the day, chooses to be better and chooses to be good. And like I just love kind of going back to the Kents and their biggest scene, like him and Pa Kent when they have that scene together, and the whole theme of the movie, which is it's your choices and your actions that define you. Like nobody can tell you who you are. Like your parents can't, your friends and family can't. You have to decide who you are through your own actions and through your own choices. You have to choose to be who you want to be and choose to be good and choose to see people as beautiful. And I thought it was just fantastic to see that on screen, to finally see like that beautifully portrayed of a Superman who just is good and wants to
yeah,
be good and wants to save people and is quick to like when he saves people he'll like wait a second and be like try breathing exercise man, like it's all
yeah.
gonna be
Like, are you
okay.
good? Yeah,
Yeah, saves a squirrel at one point. Like are you kidding me? Like that's Superman. He saves a squirrel and he's fighting the big kaiju and he's like I'm trying to figure out like how we can get out of here safely and go to an intergalactic zoo or something like that. And Mr. Terrific looks at him and he's like seriously.
it's like, come on,
Like
man.
it just he's so good and he's so emotional too. which I think this movie set out to do two main things, and that was to set up the DC universe and to make Superman cool in the general public's eyes again. And I think it succeeded at both of those really strongly because everybody's excited for the future of DC, but more specifically, even the people who don't like this movie love him as Superman, say like he is a great Superman. I have more thoughts, but I'll let you go before I continue.
Well, just to touch on like what you said about David as an actor, I just think he's done such a good job with it. Like you said, he just kind of embodies Superman in his own life, which I think is cool. And I think that also comes from just taking the role seriously and wanting to do it justice, which I think is always like one of my favorite things that actors do is like when they take it on. So like I'm going to do this justice because I know people care because I care, is always like, so like, that's like one of my most favorite things that an actor can do. And so as soon as like I've seen interviews with him and stuff and just like how much he knows about DC in general and everything that like, I'm like, I don't even know what he's talking about. He knows so much. And just like, I think that has been so cool to see. So I really respect David as an actor because of that. So, and then being able to see him in the role in the movie, I thought he did an amazing job. It was so fun to watch him, his choices and his acting, and just I think one of the reasons why I love Tom Welling as Superman in Smallville is just how human he is, and like that's obviously the main point of this movie, as the big thing at the end comes to play when he's talking to Lex. It's just how human he is, and like you get to see that side of Superman because I think that's what makes him relatable, and almost like a softness to Superman, because obviously you think of him as a character and you're like, oh yeah, he's this big strong guy and he's got all the powers and whatever, but I think just like bringing down like a softness, whereas I didn't see that with Henry Cavill. Not that I don't think he didn't do a good job. I think Henry Cavill is still a good Superman, but I just think that David did the best way I can put it, and the people that will understand, if you know, is that David Cornsweet is the female gaze, and I think Henry Cavill is a little bit too male gaze. And I think that's all I can say about it, is that it was so good. And like you said, like he's emotional. I think that a strong man who, can be in touch with his emotions and cry and can get mad because his dog
was taken.
Like, I think that that's all really cool little details that I liked about it. And just, he needs to go to Ma and Pa's house to recover. Like, I don't know. And he felt bad about his, like his Superman bots getting destroyed, and like I don't know, just these little moments. And like you said, with like I loved all the moments even in the movie with the kids where he's like going and saving the kids. Those always gave me like little chills when he would go and like, or right before the message was leaked and he's like, the Justice Gang is coming over to the citizens and all the kids are going up to Superman. Like, I love that. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. If you want to share anything else, go ahead, though.
Yeah, I think to kind of add to your point of, like, he's the female gaze Superman, I saw on TikTok recently a girl say, like, I've been seeing, like, men and, like, dudes react to Superman like how a girl reacts when she gets, like, kudos at work. Like, it seems to mean like so much to all of these guys, like that Superman is good and that he's a good character and a good man and is just kind and hopeful. And she was like, good for you guys. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, this is awesome. Yeah. And it's just funny because like that's totally how it is. Like, so many guys, like, it's not just me. Like, just go talk to people. Like, it's just, we're so like, it means so much to us that we have a good Superman. Like a Superman a Superman who would inspire the Iron Giant. Like, Henry Cavill Superman, I don't think would inspire the Iron Giant. Like, a good metric for if it's like a solid Superman, which again, I don't think Henry Cavill's terrible necessarily. I love the actor. But
again, and we talked about that in our Man of Steel thing, is that he wasn't given enough, in Man of Steel to work with to make his Superman great, in our opinion. If you want to hear more about that, go listen to our Man of Steel episode. But
Exactly.
I think that David Cornsweet was given the good content to work with to make Superman great. And so I think that that's all of it just worked together to create this movie, and I think it all worked really well. So
Yeah.
we're already at an hour, Garrett.
I know, but this was going to happen. It's Superman. Prince of Egypt. We promise Prince of Egypt will be under an hour. I will force myself.
Don't
Jackson
make
will
promises
force us
you can't
at gunpoint.
keep, Garrett.
But just, I think to kind of wrap this into some of the themes of the movie, I wanted to quickly mention. Really, I love, again, just that the theme is all about, like, your own self-worth and not caring about what others tell you to be or tell you who you are, and just choosing to be, yourself, and choosing loving yourself and knowing that you're enough and choosing to be good. And I think it's really what I think a lot of us, like, I don't want to sound too pretentious, but it's really what a lot of us need right now, because I know it's a lot of what I need right now is, like, a lot of lessons that I'm personally learning in my personal life are about, like, taking action, choosing to do things, not waiting for things to happen, as well as not worrying about what other people are saying or what other people think, but no, like, I'm the one who decides. Like, I don't want to let myself, the person I want to let down the least should be, like, me before it is, like, my friends, my family. Like, I want to be able to, like, I'm so self-critical of myself, of everything that I do or everything that I make. And this movie helped me realize, like, I need to stop caring so much about what other people are thinking. And as long as I enjoy who I am and enjoy what I'm doing, then that's good. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to be. And I'm choosing to, be a better man because of it. And so just personally right now in this moment has meant a lot to me, especially on the second viewing. That hit me a lot more. And I think for kind of going back to the goofy TikTok of, like, so many dudes are so happy about this, and it's not just men exclusively, obviously, like you said, like, girls, like, love David Cornsweet, not just because he's hot, but because he's a good dude. And I think
No,
this
because
movie
he's
just
David
teaches
Cornsweet.
us, yeah, this movie just teaches us so much about, like, obviously, yes, it's a superhero movie. It's not gonna be, life changing necessarily unless you make it. But this movie is teaching us that being a good person is something that you choose, and being kind is something that you choose. It's not something that can be forced upon you. It's not something that someone makes you do. You have to choose it, and you have to make something of your own life. And I think that just resonates with a lot of people, especially of our generation right now.
Yes, I would agree. Very inspired, Garrett. You were hitting me in the heart with some of those.
Just like Superman hit me in the heart. But
just like Superman hit you. Okay, before we get into the other ones, a couple other characters that we didn't mention. Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, really a jump scare for me. Was it for you?
Crazy, yeah. Yeah, I was just like, what?
Yeah, that was wild. It was like, hey, there's Bradley Cooper, and he's speaking Kryptonian.
Yeah.
We kind of already touched on, like,
say,
Mom, Pa, Kent. Oh, wait, go ahead.
I will say about Jor-El in this movie, this is a very, not, like, this take has been done before, but it's kind of not the most well-known take of making Jor-El a villain. Like, since he sent Clark really there or Kal-El there
Take
to
over.
Rule over the people. Jor-El usually is always, like, a good dude who just wanted to save his son and did want to make him a symbol of hope, and, like, wanted to have him inspire the people of Earth, as Russell Crowe did in Man of Steel. But I think it just, and when I first saw it and I first saw the real message and stuff and knew that it was, like, it wasn't faked, I was like, I don't know how much I like this. But I think it works really well because it works. I think I like it in the end because it works well with the whole themes of what I just talked about. Right? It's not he's being Superman because his parents told him to be. It's because he has to realize, like, no, I'm doing this because it's who I am and who I want to be. And so for that reason, I think Jor-El was pretty good in this. Like, he served his purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and we didn't see much of him. It was just the message, so. Cool. We kind of already talked about Mom, Pa, Kent, how we like that, them. And Eve was kind of an unsung hero in this. She was able to help Jimmy take down good old Lex. So I liked that. I thought that she was funny. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I also
She
loved the
was very
Superman
funny.
robots. Thought those were fun, little
Gary.
additions. Good old Gary. And there, some of those Superman robots
Hmm.
are like Guardians people that I learned. There
Yeah,
was, I saw
like
that in an interview with
Michael
James Gunn.
Rooker played one of them. Who's Michael Rooker plays Yondu in the Guardians movies, and then
Yeah.
Palm. I can't remember her last name, but she plays Mantis. She was one of the voices of the robots. So it's cool
Hmm.
to see them kind of in small roles.
Yeah, kind of just a fun little addition. So, okay, now that we've kind of
Hmm.
gone over characters, let's go to aesthetic. What did you give that score? And we can go through it pretty fast.
Aesthetically, I gave it a large bucket with extra butter. I don't think it's necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing movie I've ever seen in my life, but I love how much it pops. I love that it feels like a comic, feels like a cartoon. It visually is very distinct than most other superhero shows, movies, whatever you want to say.
Hmm.
It's like I feel like you can look at a shot from this movie and be like, "That's from Superman."
Yeah.
Like you'll just get it immediately. So I think it was a really fresh and fun take on like it made the world feel a lot more comic booky and a lot more
Hmm.
just fun because of how poppy and stuff it was.
Yeah. I would agree. I liked the style of this movie overall. One thing that I liked in the editing of this movie and just like some of the shots that there were, um, I really liked how they would a lot of the time when like Clark was flying or fighting or Superman,
Hmm.
how they would kind of like go over his chest and you would just get like the
Yeah.
Superman symbol. I thought that that was cool. And then one scene that kind of almost made me a little misty the first time I saw it was on the bridge when he comes back to Metropolis and like holds up the building and then the
Hmm.
lady's driving away and then you like through the like dust of the building
He
that like
floats up.
aura shot of him
Oh,
just it was
so
so
good.
good and then she's just like crying. I loved
Uh-huh.
that scene. Since we yeah, so that part I thought was really good. The shot of that and everything, it just like is ingrained in my brain. Also, just like all the
Hmm.
flying and everything. So I the style again, like you said, the color I thought was really good. Some of the costuming I thought like the costuming I thought was great. And
Hmm.
even just in the extras, I don't know if anybody noticed that, but just how colorful they were, I thought was really cool. Um, and then one other shot that I thought was really cool was that we kind of already touched on was the Mr. Terrific scene, like his fight scene at the
The one shot.
base. Yeah, the one shot I thought was so cool. So yeah, that's kind of my thought on. Oh, did I give it a score?
I don't think so.
Aesthetic, I gave large popcorn bucket with extra butter. So same thoughts.
Nice.
Any scenes that stuck out to you? We didn't talk about like favorite and least favorite scene, but if now I think would be
Hmm.
a good time if you wanted to share any.
Yeah, I'm happy you talked about the camera work because I totally forgot about it. I think the action and the flight scenes and stuff are so cool because, like you said, it like brings us close to the characters, and it's not like it doesn't cut away and then do a close up. It's the camera like moves close to them. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of really cool like one shots and just camera movements. Like specifically, the kaiju fight was like so cool just because of how dynamic it was. Like the camera was moving with Superman, and he's moving just like so gracefully, and it didn't feel jarring at all. And the effects were like so good. There's only like one or two that I was like, I can tell that's CGI. Like
Yeah.
the monster looked so real. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Obviously, I know like I'm not actually looking at the world splitting apart, but it felt like it fit and didn't feel jarring at all in the movie. Like it felt
Yeah.
really like there are scenes where Metamorpho is a floating head, and it looks great. Like it doesn't take me out of the
Yeah,
movie at
that was
all.
actually funny. I was like, okay. And then when he's the tentacle
Hmm.
guy, is that what
Yeah,
Mr. Terrific calls him? So
yeah.
funny.
But
Okay.
my favorite scene, I just gotta say real quick, is I think there's a lot of great scenes of just the dialogue of like the Kent scene we've talked about a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Yeah.
interview scene that we've barely touched on, but is like incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite scene, I think, and it'll tie into music, is there is a moment in this where, like, people have compared this movie to Avengers, the first Avengers movie, where when you walk out of it or when the movie's over, you feel like something has changed, like something is happening, like superhero movies are going to be different now. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt like that when at the very end, after Superman has defeated Bizarro, or sorry, Ultraman, who I think is Bizarro, if you know who that is. After he's defeated Ultraman, and all the Raptors start flying in, and then he flies up, and him and Crypto take him on. The way that that is shot, and just the music being so, like the original theme, just being so hopeful and so powerful. Like every time I've thought about it, every time I've seen it, just the two times, and tomorrow the third, I just get chills and goosebumps. Like that was the moment where where I just was like, I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. It was, this is Superman. This is everything that I have wanted. This is hope. This is fun. This is just so like good. Like it feels so good. And it's hard
Love
to
it.
articulate kind of how I really felt about it, because it's just him taking on some dudes, but it just felt so like
When he
inspiring
does
and
the
uplifting.
spin
And I
move
was
and they
just,
all just like
yeah, when he does the
fly
spin
off of
move,
him.
and I'm just so happy that we get to have this as our Superman for the next foreseeable decades.
Yeah, I love that. I touched on a lot of my favorite scenes, but so I won't go into them again. But those are kind of all the ones that I've mentioned are the ones that have stood out to me. So, but
Mhm.
I love that you liked that one. And you mentioned the music in it, so let's
Mhm.
go into that category. I'll just go first. Let me make sure I give you the right score that I wrote down. But music, I put large bucket with extra butter. I think that, I mean, I kind of talked about this with my brothers, but um, I think it's interesting because it is the John Williams stuff
Mhm.
that was kind of revamped for this movie, which I liked a lot. I
Mhm.
think that they took it and then reworked it in a really good, natural, fun way that is
Yeah.
current. And then all of the other original stuff, like the Lex music, like the Luther Corp Squad music, I thought was really good. One of the musical moments that I loved was at, I think it's at the end when they've kind of like accomplished their stuff and they're coming together again. And I mean, that part with him and Lois, with them flying and kissing is
Mhm.
so good. But like the guitar
Mhm.
theme was so good. Like, I,
So good.
all I
Yeah.
know is that every single song that I heard in this movie, I was like, that was perfect, you know? So,
Yeah.
um, I'm not, the reason why I won't give it extra large bucket is because it is kind of reworked. So I'm like, okay, he was already
Mhm.
given it. Like, it's not completely original. But I would say that I think I liked this music as much as I liked Man of Steel, maybe a little bit more, just because I think it fits
Mhm.
Superman so well, obviously, because it's
Yeah.
John Williams. But, anyways, go ahead.
Exactly. I think no, same thing. Like large bucket, extra butter. Um, I think kind of how I view the Superman theme, the John Williams Superman theme. I feel like it's kind of like the James Bond theme of it. Kind
Like,
of
you
is
can't
just the
not. Yeah.
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't like as amazing as the Man of Steel music is, and I still love it. I'm still going to listen to it forever. Like and like yes, there it does feel Superman-y. This is like the John Williams theme. Like that's Superman. Like you
Yeah.
can't get better
You
than
can't
that.
beat
Like
it.
that is
Yeah.
Superman.
Well, and that's why I
And
appreciate that they reworked it, is because I
yeah,
don't know that you can ever be better than it. So it's like, okay,
exactly.
let's just use it because that's what Superman is and that's how people will
Hmm.
recognize Superman. So let's use it in a way that works for this movie.
Exactly. And my main worry, honestly, for the movie was the music, because I was like, you're following up John Williams and Hans Zimmer, two of the best composers we've ever had.
Seriously.
Um,
My
and
faves.
I'm just so happy to be like, or to be able to say that they really killed it. Like it's so
Yeah.
good. There's so many moments, like you said, you're watching it and it's like they couldn't have picked a better song. Like
Yeah.
immediately go into the playlist. Um, and just the way that they retool the theme, I think is great. The only reason it's not extra large bucket for me is I do think, like again, love the guitar, love everything about it. Um, but I don't know, because I do think I kind of enjoy more orchestral than I do kind of guitar and stuff, which this is still orchestral for a lot of it. But it's hard to explain, but there's a sound that John Williams and Hans Zimmer have where you listen to it and you can tell like people are playing instruments. Whereas with this score, it feels a little bit more like done in a computer, which I don't think it was. Like they recorded it. It's just kind of hard to describe. Yeah, I wish it had a little bit more of that authentic feeling of, oh, I
Like,
can tell
oomph.
somebody is playing a flute right now or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with live instruments. If you didn't know, I played violin for several years of my life.
Wow.
And I was in orchestra in middle school. I won't act like I know anything, but from the videos I've seen of composers and stuff, and the reason why live music is so important is because of the imperfections in the instruments. As hard as you can try, an instrument can't be perfectly in tune with every single instrument, and every note isn't going to be exactly the same. So it gives that added like oomph to music when it's live. And again, I'm pretty sure I would be surprised if this wasn't recorded live. But maybe there was just something in post production, or like maybe it's the instruments they use that make it feel a little bit less imperfect.
Yeah.
If that's kind of what you're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
But that would be based off of what you're saying, that would be my
Yeah.
translation for those who don't understand what Garrett might be saying. Okay, cool. Do we have any other things we want to hit on before we go to our overall scores, Garrett? Sometimes we hit entertainment value, sometimes we do when to watch. I think it's pretty obvious that you watch this in the summer or, any time
When
of the
you're
year. I
feeling
feel like
like you
Superman
need
you
a
can watch
boost of hope.
anytime. A boost
Yeah.
of hope if you need just, a good superhero movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, it's not too dark. Or,
And it's
if you just want to
entertaining,
watch a
super
movie.
entertaining.
Like,
Yeah.
this feels like a movie. Who said that? I think Harry Styles said that one time. I like this movie because it feels like a movie.
And that's something, just real quick to touch on, that's so important that I think a lot of modern films don't fully get, and the best directors do get, is like you want it to feel like a movie. Like we talked about escapism, like you want it to be that level of escapism of like there's a difference between being taken out of a movie and then recognizing I'm watching a movie right now. And there's a specific part where when Superman's fighting the Raptors where Krypto takes off a dude's helmet and then he punches him and his teeth fall out and they bounce off the camera lens. Like, that's what we're talking about. It doesn't take you out. If anything, it's like so cool because it's like, did the teeth just bounce off the invisible camera lens? Like, that's so awesome. Like, that's just the sauce, man. That's the sauce.
This movie got the sauce.
Exactly.
Love it. Entertainment value, I feel like if you're picking up what we're putting down, like, we find this movie entertaining. We think everybody should watch it. You already know. Don't act like you weren't listening. And then, anything else we want to touch on? Jackson, our producer, is there anything you think we should touch on before we hop off and give us the overall score? Garrett, Jackson, anybody? Nailed it? Okay. Love it. Well,
Solid.
Garrett, what do you give this overall?
Overall, I would give Superman in my very biased opinion, a large bucket with extra butter.
Love it.
Fantastic film.
That's what I would give it too. Large bucket, extra
We're
butter.
so in sync.
Guys, this was the most in sync me and Garrett have ever been about a movie, I think. Did all of our scores line up? I think you changed your character,
so.
but other than that.
My character I changed, but everything else was perfectly lined up.
But if he didn't change it, it would have been perfect.
But there's beauty in imperfection, Natalie. We just learned this with music.
I know, we just learned that about music. But cool. Okay. Well, like we said at the beginning of this episode, next week we will do Prince of Egypt. We are so glad you joined us on this one, even though it was long again. Again, if this was your first time listening to us, please next week listen to us in 2 times speed. We know we talk slow.
Please.
We know that these episodes are long, but we want you to keep listening, so don't forget about us. Anything else, Garrett? Final thoughts. We love Superman. Go follow us on socials. We love life. We got so much hope after this movie. We are rejuvenated. Garrett's gonna go see it a third time. I probably will too at some point. But yeah, I love it. Great stuff. And I think
See
that's
you
it.
in the next one.